Since you clicked on this video, I'm going to assume that you like video games. But who the hell am I to judge? I don't know. Either way, whether you like video games, tabletop games, comic books, whatever, feel free to join my Discord chat. We talk about all that crazy stuff. We're definitely a smaller Discord right now, but our community is slowly growing. There's a lot of great people in there, a lot of great conversations, so I'd love to have you. Feel free to jump on in, join the conversation. The link is in the description below. Have a great day, and now let's get into the video. There are quite a lot of anniversaries coming up in 2021 when it comes to Nintendo. The last video that I made discussing this, about Donkey Kong, was more so asking whether or not Nintendo would even acknowledge or celebrate Donkey Kong's 40th anniversary. But when it comes to The Legend of Zelda, which will be celebrating its 35th anniversary in 2021, it's not a question of if, because we know they're definitely going to be doing something for Zelda. There's no way that Nintendo is going to ignore one of their biggest franchises, easily right up there alongside Mario. Now, I've been very vocal with how I feel about the Mario 35th anniversary. I made a whole video about how Nintendo botched the hell out of it. So to be honest with you, I'm really reluctant to be excited for what they could be doing for Zelda, because I don't want to see any of the same old stupid tricks that they pulled with Mario, like attaching artificial urgency to a game and only making it available for 3 months or whatever the hell. Hopefully Nintendo won't go that route with Zelda, but who the hell knows. But I don't want this video to be super negative. I'm not trying to get into all that. Obviously we can't judge it before it happens. Right now I just want to focus on what we could possibly see for Zelda in 2021. Now the anniversary officially begins in February, so there's a good chance that we could see a lot of Zelda content really early in the year, or at least see what Nintendo has planned early in the year. I imagine that if they do a Nintendo Direct sometime in January or something like that, we'll probably get a drop right away of some of the ideas that they're going to be giving us for Zelda's 35th anniversary. So I'm going to do a little bit of wish listing and a little bit of good old-fashioned speculating to give us an idea of what we could possibly see for Zelda's 35th. Now, I imagine one thing Nintendo is definitely going to do is roll the release of Breath of the Wild 2 into the celebration. It's pretty common speculation at this point that Breath of the Wild 2 will probably launch next holiday. I think it's a pretty safe bet, and I'm sure that since the 35th anniversary falls within 2021, it's probably going to somehow get rolled into that. So they're definitely going to include Breath of the Wild 2's release in there. Plus, releasing Zelda content all through the year will definitely hype up anticipation for the sequel to one of the biggest Legend of Zelda games of all time. So absolutely, I see them rolling that into it. Funnily enough, there aren't really a lot of Zelda games available on the Switch. While yes, we do have some retro Zelda titles like A Link to the Past, the original Legend of Zelda, and Zelda 2, all of them available on the NES and SNES channel things on the Switch, respectively. The only other Zelda game options you have on Switch are Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, of course the first Breath of the Wild, and Cadence of Hyrule. Not exactly a humongous selection. So there are a plethora of Zelda games that have not yet come to the Nintendo Switch that I'm sure we'll probably see releases of one way or another in 2021. Games like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess already have the advantage of having HD versions of their games as they were put on the Wii U. So it would definitely be easy for Nintendo to just re-release those games on the Switch or put them in one collection. Maybe Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and perhaps the heavily rumored HD version of Skyward Sword, which popped up on Amazon, I think, earlier this year, but of course nothing came of it. But obviously Nintendo could be holding on to it for something like the 35th anniversary for Zelda, and could put it out with a collection of the other HD titles. It's also possible that Twilight Princess and Wind Waker could get bundled together, but Skyward Sword HD could be its own standalone game. Either way, I can easily see the three of these games getting released in 2021, especially Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD, which again are already done. They were already released on the Wii U, and it would be as easy as just porting them over to the Switch. A majority of Wii U games have already been ported to the Switch anyway, so I could definitely see these games getting ported over as well. I think it's only a matter of time until Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask are somehow ported to the Switch. How they're going to do that, I'm not really sure. In my mind, I feel like a collection would make the most sense. Putting those games together makes sense. Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask are effectively games that go together in more ways than one. For one, they're direct sequels. Two, they use the same assets, and it's the same Link, so really those two games are congruent with one another, so it would make sense to put them out together as some sort of dual release or something. Now the question is, would we get the N64 games kind of tuned up to HD, sort of like what they did with Mario 64, or would we get the 3DS titles, perhaps with slightly updated visuals in HD? I think that would be really, really cool and really interesting. Granted, I'm a little biased. I own Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask on multiple consoles, and I have the 64 versions of the game quite a few times. So to be honest, having an HD version of the 64 games isn't really that exciting to me. Yeah, there's always that chance we could get N64 games released on the Switch online, but I'm not sure how confident I am in that actually happening. I know there's a little bit of hints here and there, but I'm still reluctant, especially when Nintendo is making you pay money for Mario 64 and the like. I just have a hard time imagining them just sticking it on the online service, but who knows, maybe they will, maybe they won't. Maybe that's the announcement this year, maybe it'll be a surprise they'll put N64 games on the Switch Online. I mean, it's a good reason for it, and it's a good time to do it, especially because there are a lot of 64 games that people want to see, and there's two really big ones with these Zelda titles, so it's possible that that could be something that we see announced, which would again roll into the Zelda 35th, or it's possible that again we see the 3DS games bundled together and made HD. I think I would like that a little bit more. I would love to see what Ocarina and Majora's Mask could look like in HD with better visuals. The 3DS games look good. The only thing they would really need to do is just clean them up a little bit, make them a little bit higher resolution for HD, and boom, you got some great games right there. I would love to see that. I would love to re-experience those games with those visuals again, but in HD. I think it would be nice, playing it on my television instead of on a handheld only. That would be great. You can still keep the gyro controls and all that bull, it still fits, so I still think that would work really well, and I think I'd rather see the 3DS remakes rather than the originals, but that's just me personally. If anything, I see the originals getting ported over the 3DS remakes. Speaking of remakes, Link's Awakening was really fun. It would be really cool to see Oracle of Seasons and Ages get the same treatment that they gave to Link's Awakening. Completely redone, with 3D visuals, making whole new games like that, it would be awesome. And those are definitely great games. I have really fun memories of them, and honestly, they're really dated. Like Link's Awakening, they're not exactly the best games to look at anymore, so it would be nice to see them get a visual upgrade and have kind of a whole new life on the Switch in a similar way that they did with Link's Awakening. Now, personally, I would much rather see them do this with A Link to the Past. A Link to the Past is one of the most famous Legend of Zelda games. It's a real classic, a lot of people love it, and I know you can play it right now on the online service, but it would be a game that would be really cool to see redone similar to Link's Awakening, and I think it would be a big release. A lot of people have a lot of nostalgia for A Link to the Past. I know I personally do, and I would love to see it re-released like that. A Link Between Worlds did do this, sort of, but again, it goes back to, wanting to see this game as it was originally, brought up to 3D and everything like that. I'd rather see the Link to the Past get redone rather than like a sequel or whatever like A Link Between Worlds. I think something like that would be really, really cool, and it would definitely be pretty big. It would be a nice surprise, and it would be a big announcement, in my opinion. Of course, there's always that chance they hit us with some real shocker, like, Zelda 2 getting a 3D remake or some weird shit. I guess that's a possibility, and I wouldn't mind it, but I'm not the biggest fan of Zelda 2. I don't think a lot of people are big fans of Zelda 2, to be honest. This is when that guy in the comments section goes, "Oh, I love Zelda 2, it's my favorite." It's inevitable. I know there's going to be fans for it somewhere, but I think the majority of Zelda fans are not big fans of it. So Nintendo announcing any kind of remake for it would be a shocker, to say the least. And last but not least, we could get some wacky, out of left field thing that we just weren't expecting that could have to do with The Legend of Zelda. I know Hyrule Warriors sort of fits that description, but who knows, maybe it'll be something even weirder than that. Some, I don't know, Zelda party, or who knows, maybe Zelda characters crossing over in some weird game we never thought they would. I don't know, some weird shit like that. That wouldn't surprise me either. Zelda racing game? Link's crossbow training too? Who knows? Sky's the limit. Anyway, what do you think we'll get for The Legend of Zelda's 35th anniversary? Think we're gonna get collections of the games in HD re-released? Think we're gonna get anything out of left field, some kind of wacky crossover? Why don't you let me know down in the comments below? If you like this video, feel free to give it a like, share it if you want. If you really like this video, feel free to subscribe. I put out gaming videos every other week. I've been lagging a little bit on the video releases just because I've been extremely busy lately, but I do release videos on the regular. Usually about Nintendo content, but I like to touch on all different kinds of games, though I do focus primarily on Nintendo. I always like to take this time at the end of my videos to thank everybody who's subscribing, everybody who's watching. I always appreciate it. I really, really do. You guys mean a lot to me. I absolutely love the support. Every day I see my sub count slowly grow, and it just really makes me so happy that so many people enjoy watching my content. It blows my mind. I can't believe that people actually care to watch or listen to anything that I say, so it's pretty insane. I always love to see the comments section buzzing with all of you in it. It's wonderful. I love talking to you guys, and I like seeing the same familiar faces, I guess I could say, in the comments section every video. It's fantastic, so thank you again so much. And of course, I have my Discord, so I get to talk with you guys even more. It's great. It's a wonderful experience, and I always want to thank you so much. I know I've been talking a big game with that 500 subscriber celebration, which I still have yet to do. I've been trying to think about what I wanted to do for it, and I think I'm slowly falling into the favor of doing a live stream of some kind, be it a game or even maybe just a Q&A where I just sit down and answer questions for who knows how long. May not be that exciting for everybody, but I'm thinking that might be what I want to do. So just hang in there. Something's coming soon. Thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Stay safe out there, and bye-bye.